What's up everyone, this is FP6 bringing you another episode of Legendary Battle Strategies where I highlight a couple of my games that I feel like showcase really high level gameplay, and I go into a deep dive of exactly what I was thinking and how I was able to come out and win that matchup. So as always, if you appreciate these types of videos, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's jump right into the gameplay here. So these battles were done in the Great League Remix Cup, and even though we're in Ultra League this week, the knowledge taken away from a lot of these gameplay situations is still very valuable on how to handle certain matchups and whatnot. And so the team that I'm running is up on the screen there. If you'd like a deep dive on the team, feel free to check out one of my more recent videos where I really showcase this team and how to handle a lot of the different matchups. But let's jump right into this first battle here. I'm just going to be talking through my thought process here. So Obstagoon into Golbat is a very terrible lead, and because my Cresselia is running Future Sight, that is why I actually end up swapping in my Cresselia onto the Golbat. Typically Drapion is the safe swap on this team, but sometimes the Golbats might end up staying in if they think that I only have Moonblast and Grass Knot. This opponent unfortunately does switch out, so I'm not able to stay in that matchup, but they respond with a Mew. And right now they're revealing their moveset right here. So they're running Dragon Claw as one of their charge moves. Dragon Claw alternates between 5 and 4 Shadow Claws to get there. Because they're throwing straight Dragon Claw at me, which is really not chipping away that much, I'm actually already able to get a shield advantage out of this matchup. And because they shielded early on, this further gives me confidence that I don't need to shield my Cresselia anymore, because I know that coming out of this matchup, this is going to be able to set up my Obstagoon for a pretty nice farm down against this Mew. I don't know what their secondary moveset is quite yet, but I do know that Dragon Claw is really not that threatening to Obstagoon at all, and I'm continuing to be able to rip off these Moonblasts here. If I get a debuff, this is really great for me. It makes the farm with Obstagoon even less threatening. But this is a prime example of, in the secondary matchup, just taking a shield advantage, recognizing that switch advantage is actually not going to be that important. Shield advantage is much more valuable here because I don't have a hard counter to the Golbat anyways. So the way that I'm going to be able to handle this bad lead matchup is with a significant energy advantage. So they deny my counter there, which is unfortunate, but I have to fully commit to the farm down here. They are still only throwing Dragon Claw, so I still have no idea what their secondary move is. They are just continuing to chip away with Dragon Claw. It doesn't matter how much damage I get hit with right here, because again, I know I'm going to be stuck against the Golbat, but I don't get hit by another move. That's really good for me. I anticipate the Golbat coming out, and it does, so I'm going to throw one Night Slash here. And I actually have back-to-back Night Slashes here, still have 2 shields, and these Night Slashes are going to be fairly threatening to the Golbat. No boost on that first Night Slash, so I anticipate that they also might let this one go through as well. Either way, I gotta get out of here though. And so I'm not going to immediately swap. I'm staying in here a little bit longer because they have not thrown a Poison Fang quite yet. Even though I know that they're pretty much at the energy, I'm staying in. I'm trying to convince them that I am committed to staying in this matchup to try to make this eventual sack swap a little bit easier. So I execute the swap right there. I know that this is a Poison Fang, so there's no need to shield. I still have a shield advantage, and that Golbat is low health. They are continuing to stay in though. They're farming, so they're probably going to hit me with another Poison Fang here. So I unfortunately do have to shield this. I still don't know what is in the back. And they actually end up catching on their Registeel. My opponent makes the same sort of sack swap mechanic that I do, where they stay in, they throw one more move, and then they execute the swap. Very nice catch on their part, and because of my defense debuff here, Flash Cannon is now threatening to be lethal. So I have 2 options here. I can either try to get this Registeel low enough to where my Obstagoon can fully farm down and then double Night Slash, or land a Night Slash onto their Golbat. Or I can eventually try to clear this debuff. So I'm actually going to make the swap right there, recognizing that my switch clock is just came up and they are still stuck in with their Registeel. So I'm trying to take advantage of this situation. At this point, Obstagoon has served its purpose. I just need this counter damage to put this Registeel into range that my Drapion can handle it. Now, unfortunately, I am going to need 2 moves to knock out this Registeel. I'm going to need a Crunch and an Aqua Tail. And my opponent makes a beautiful catch on their Golbat. So I'm going to no bubble this to try to get a little bit more farm to guarantee that I can still land 2 moves on that Registeel. This allows me to get 2 Poison Stings worth of energy. Very good for me. And I'm farming. I have the Crunch loaded, and then I think I have just enough energy for the Aqua Tail as well, because as you will see, the Registeel actually barely survives with the Sliver, but I'm able to get to the Aqua Tail. Even if this was a CMP tie, I was able to win that CMP tie. So this match was a prime example of recognizing the value of shield advantage versus switch advantage. Because I didn't have a hard counter to the Golbat, shield advantage was everything there. It allowed me to get a great farm off of the Mew and threaten with the Night Slashes, maintaining that shield advantage to take out that team, which otherwise on paper would have been very difficult for me to take out. This is an absolutely terrible lead. So once again, I'm going to use Cresselia on the swap here, and my opponent kind of immediately responds with their own Cresselia. This is very surprising to me that their best response to my Cress is their own Cress at an energy disadvantage. By the way, these battles were done in like the 3,300 rating range, so definitely fighting against some of the top battlers in the world. This matchup really comes down to who can sneak a move and who can avoid getting the Moonblast debuff. So I believe I was able to sneak a move on their first charge move, and they did not get one through on the subsequent charge move. Ideally, what I have to do here is flip switch in my favor at all costs. No matter what, even if I have to go into a shield deficit, I cannot allow my Obstagoon to be aligned with that Wigglytuff. It's going to be a very, very bad scenario. So I'm going to throw Moonblast again. Because I'm ahead on energy, I knew that I could overfarm slightly. Plus my Cresselia is not very good PvP IVs, so most likely I would win the CMP ties. I get another Psycho Cut through. Now, if I can somehow farm this down and leave with a move stored to pressure that Wigglytuff, that's even better for me, because Drapion against a full health Wigglytuff is still going to be a difficult matchup to handle. If I can get like a Moonblast or a Feature Sight off on that Wigglytuff, it'll put it into more so Poison Sting plus Aqua Tail range, because it'll do about half health. With the move from Cresselia. They do have Grass Knot, which means that they would outpace me, but I'm in a shield deficit. I have flipped swap. That's very good for me, and I have energy store. That's exactly what I need to do. I know most likely the Wigglytuff is going to be coming back in and getting a hefty farm here. So I'm immediately keeping track of the Wigglytuff's energy. They did 1 charm in the beginning. They did 1 charm right there, so they're at 2. I'm not able to get to another move. Very unfortunate for me. I know it takes them 10 charms to get to a move. At this point in time, I am in such a difficult spot because I cannot afford to let my Drapion go down. The only way I can win this is if I'm able to perform a sack swap on my Obstagoon. At this point in time, I'm reading that it could be like a double Psychic sort of team. We saw Cresselia. It could be another Psychic type in the back because they did not have a hard counter to my Cresselia. So I'm going to throw this Aqua Tail. I'm keeping track of the Wigglytuff's energy, And they shield that right there, which further indicates that it might be a psychic type in the back. I execute the swap right at 10 moves. I knew that they were going to throw Play Rough because he gets stabbed and it does more damage. I have to fully sacrifice the Obstagoon. This little bit of counter damage that I'm getting off on the Wigglytuff is very nice. But I have to get rid of this Wigglytuff as soon as possible. They knew that I was going to be able to farm down, and it is in fact a Hypno in the back. So I have to farm up as much as possible here. I'm going to force the CMP tie. It takes 4 confusions for the Hypno to get to its first punch. So I'm farming. Here's the CMP. I know that Crunch is going to be enough, and then I should have just enough health to be able to get to an Aqua Tail to take out that Wigglytuff. So very difficult lead, but able to overcome it because of the secondary matchup, recognizing that switch advantage in this case was much more important than shield advantage, and able to take that game. Good game. Alright, in this final matchup we have Obstagoon into Ninetales, which is a fairly neutral matchup. I know against normal Ninetales, I think they win it in the zeros, but all other shielding scenarios should be slightly favorable for Obstagoon. If I boost, obviously this is very favorable for me. But either way, I'm more than comfortable committing shields here, especially since they shielded so early. I get an extra counter through because my opponent threw on alignment. So I will shield this up. They farmed up a lot. I'm going to throw 1 counter and then throw for optimal timing. 2 against 3 turns for our fast move alignment. And see what they want to do with their shields here. They commit both shields. Kind of a wild play. This really indicates that my Obstagoon is going to have some value, and potentially my Drapion will also have some value in the back as well, having that dark type move of Crunch. So I'm going to shield this up, and once again I throw 1 counter, and then I'm going to throw, which actually ended up being right when I got the Night Slash here. So let's see what my opponent wants to bring out. They end up bringing in a Mandibuzz. It is an Air Slash Mandibuzz, so I kind of want to preserve this Obstagoon, and so that's exactly what I do. I'm going to bring out my Drapion. Now, if I can get this Mandibuzz to slightly below half health, then my Cresselia is also going to be able to take it out. They are staying in. So they also must be weak to Drapion in the back. So this kind of further enforces that it might be a psychic type in the back. My opponent is already doubled up on moves. They're heavily over farming. And you see me that I'm going for another Aqua Tail here. But my opponent is very heavily over farmed. They're almost at 2 aerial aces once again. I throw 1 Poison Sting and then throw the Aqua Tail for optimal move timing. And they're still staying in here. And they have a lot of energy. So I know that I will barely survive this aerial ace. And I want to see what they are going to do here. So they do switch into Hypno. It was a psychic type in the back, so we read that correctly. They're at 2 confusions right now because they got 1 on entry and then they got 1 while I threw. So down goes my Drapion. I'm going to bring out Cresselia here. And this next play is pretty hilarious. This Hypno is heavily overfarmed. I know they're already out of Shadow Ball. But what I'm eventually going to do, they are very pressured to throw right here because they're very low. So I execute the catch of a Shadow Ball on my Obstagoon just for fun. Triple resisted. And then I'm going to throw this Night Slash to get rid of the Hypno. What this actually ended up doing was providing them with a win con because now their Mandibuzz is going to be able to farm me down. But I knew that I was still going to be okay, because all I need to do is get to a move on my Cresselia. And as we will see, I'm actually barely going to be able to survive both of these foul plays. So kind of a fun catch at the end there. But if you enjoy these kinds of videos, the in-depth thought process on some of these battles at like normal speed, not sped up, let me know in the comments, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I really enjoy doing these types of videos where I get to break down my in-depth thought process on a lot of these plays. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.